Well, folks, here we again for the weekly forecast. Of course, the big news was the snowstorm that moved across the state on Thursday and then exited the state Friday night, which was last night. And then, of course, with the heavy accumulations of snowfall across the northern half of the state, lighter totals as you headed toward the Kansas border, but everybody shared in some of the snowfall. And unfortunately, some of the heavier precipitation stayed in the northern half of the state, when we could have seen some of that in the southwest corner where we've been particularly dry. But overall, we've seen over an inch of accumulated moisture with this system, and in some areas pushing an inch and a half of accumulated moisture. So if you take it in concern in regards to how much moisture has occurred with this system in relation to our winter period, northwest and north central Nebraska, basically this storm accounted to the type of moisture you would see in the 2-month period from January through February. So a big event. Ground is thawed out now, so the slow melt of this system will get into the profile. Not much in the way of significant runoff. A very welcome event. If you're in cattle business, this may not have been the thing you wanted to see at this time of the year, but moisture is moisture, and we need to see every bit of it in order to get ourselves in a good shape as we go into the spring period. Now, as we go through this next 7-day period, it doesn't look like we're going to be dealing with any significant systems here in the Central Plains. Most of the activity will push to our east, and if we go to the upper air models, we'll see how this progresses through the week. So here's the trough that basically is bottom out to the south of us. The upper air low is now off northeast of the Great Lakes. That will push rapidly to the east, bringing all of this entire jet stream with it. We'll start to see a return flow as we get into Sunday, bringing our temperature up a little bit warmer. But then we will also notice another piece of energy moving in this flow toward the northeast that will basically lay out a foundation of precipitation across eastern Kansas, then really energize it, move toward the east on Tuesday. And then we see the system really crank itself up on Wednesday. So we're seeing some pretty good weather maker in the eastern Corn Belt. And on our side, we start to see the cold air dipping in on Wednesday and Thursday from the north, bringing a chance of flurries, but nothing in more than basically 1/10 of an inch of moisture. And then we start to see the ridge trying to build in next weekend, and another system will start to move its way into the Pacific Northwest and will start to make its way into the northern Rockies as we get into late next weekend. That one has the potential to bring some very cold air once again into the western United States and set up the stage once again for a very active pattern, particularly across the northern plains, and that may actually be pulled farther southward into Nebraska, depending on how cold that or how much that air penetrates down toward the south. In terms of precipitation, most of the precipitation with the big system that moved through this region is now exiting the Great Lakes region, and by Sunday will be over the northeastern United States. A little bit of moisture in Kansas that starts to erupt as that system gets organized over the mid-Mississippi River Valley, quickly exits out toward the northeast. We get a little bit of energy here in the southeast generating some returns, but most of it is just light precipitation once the winds come from the northwest and start pulling this moisture down into our region. And then yet again, as we go to Friday, you'll start to see some of that system starting to show up just north of the Pacific Northwest. That looks to be our weather maker as we get late into next weekend. So if we look at the 8 to 14-day forecast, warm to our east, cold to our northwest, and from next Thursday to the following Tuesday, most of the precipitation rolls across the northern United States with a little bit of it in the southeastern United States.